Just tell me that story from start to finish, from the HV, or from the yeah. Just tell me that story from start to finish, like from you as you remember it, not the whole HVZ, but just like all right, from maybe the meeting of what happened, you know.
The meeting of.
Okay, we all got together for that for the mission.
Okay,
You
yeah.
were a zombie at that point.
Yeah, I was.
So you were a zombie at that point. Tell me what that was like whenever Dan's done hacking up babies.
I need her to clap. Can you clap one time?
Good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just tell me what that was like from the zombie perspective, because last night we heard Kevin talk about it from a moderator's perspective. So, all right, you're all hanging out, you're getting ready for it. What happened?
Yeah, pretty much all the zombies are getting ready. Everybody was pumped. It was a great mission, so everybody went in, and we had a plan that all the zombies were going to go in from one side of the football field, which was pretty much the only opening they had. And then some of the zombies were going to go up just in case the humans tried to escape through the bleachers. So I was one of those zombies that was going to sneak up on them if they escaped through the bleachers. So as I'm walking around, I kind of have this like aerial / side view of the field just because I was on the right side of the field and it was kind of higher up. As about 6 of you maybe were standing in the middle of the field getting ready for this attack because you knew it was coming, all of the zombies just rushed in and it was perfect. It was like movie magic. A spiral of zombies came around the group and everybody was back to back 360 degrees, just like shooting everything. Everybody's face was just like like constantly on zombies. It was beautiful. I stopped. I didn't even play because I was just like watching it and I was like, oh crap, I better do something. But yeah, no, it was beautiful. I wish I had that scene on film. Like, that was amazing.
We're going to fake it out eventually. I'm going to try and get everyone together. We're going to try and replicate it.
Yeah.
Tell me more about, now, what did you think, you saw these people in the middle of the field, like, what did you think was going on there? Because there was obviously more, let me get my coffee so I can keep rocking. There was obviously more humans at that point. Why was there only, I think there was 4. Why was there only 4 people out in the middle of the football field? What did you guys think about that?
Well, we weren't sure where the rest of the humans were, if there were any left. I know at this point, actually, this was very odd for HVZ. By day, like, 2 or 3, it was almost half and half, humans to zombies. So, I mean, we were just taking them out quickly. So we weren't sure where the rest of them went. Later on, I heard like some of them went on another mission to complete it while some of the humans stood in the middle and kind of took care of all the zombies and distracted them. But we saw 4 humans. We were like, yeah, that's done.
Now, are you aware that, because I'm hearing a little bit of different perspective here. Mm-hmm. Are you aware that at the meeting for the humans, all of Ninja Squad and all of the rest of the people decided to run from the mission and so they could stay towards finish the rest of the week.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a distraction. It wasn't a diversion. Rob and a couple of guys, they decided to stay because they didn't want to be a bunch of pussies. They wanted to fight because that's what it's about. It's about shooting people, and if you get out, you get out. And so, what do you think about the people who retreated from that mission and wouldn't fight you guys?
Well, I mean, like that's the whole point of HVZ. I mean, the point's to stay alive, but it's also to stay alive because you're playing and fighting so hard to stay alive. So you're kind of just omitting the fact that there is a mission that you're supposed to be completing. And they weren't playing. That was simply it. They just decided to pause the game for them and then come back to it later, which I'm really competitive, so I kind of feel like it's cheating, but we killed them anyways.
So what do you think about, it was Rob and Chase and then a couple other people. What do you think about Rob's decision to stay in the field as a zombie? Like, what did that mean to you?
Oh, I mean, like, anybody who stayed in the field, it meant a lot because you're willing to stick it out and you're willing to actually, like, stand up and play the game. That's the point. So, I mean, it meant a lot because, it's good sportsmanship. I mean, that's just what you're supposed to do in a game. You're supposed to be with everybody, and everybody who already got turned into a zombie, same, shit happened to them. Like, they were a human, they were trying to fight, and then they got turned into a zombie, but then they still played. Like, that's the way it's supposed to go.
That's great. Okay, we're gonna jump back a little bit here. I like that story a lot, and I just really wanted to hear your perspective on it. All right, back to when you first met Rob. Do you remember the first time you met Rob?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, tell me about that.
I met Rob at a party that was at my house. I had just moved in because I came back from a deployment, and I was already a week late for school, and everybody's like, yeah, let's just have parties, and it'll be great. Because all of my friends that I knew from St. Charles were already here, and they had already met people. So I was like, that's fine, that's cool, we'll have a party. It wasn't a small party by any means. It was ginormous, and half the people that were there were from LAS. And so Rob ended up being one of those people, and he started talking to me about LAS and him, having this Thunderdome. And so at first I was like, okay, is it actually a dome, or where is Thunderdome? What is Thunderdome? But okay. And so he was just talking about modifying Nerf guns, which I'm used to because me and Dan have been friends for a while. And he does that. So I was just like, all right, this is pretty cool, whatever. And Rob seemed like a cool guy, mainly because pretty much as we were talking, it just seemed like the mission statement of his life was, I just want to live. I want to do life with other people. And that's what I loved. I was just like, that's all I want to do. All I want to do is meet new people, have new interactions. And it was perfect. So right there, I knew I liked the guy. I mean, it was already set. And after that, he came to another party. And then he was talking about Give a Damn in this movie. And, it's a party, so we're drinking, and I'm half-ass, listening, half-ass drunk. And I'm just like, yeah, cool. And then all of a sudden I hear oh yeah, plane crash, kind of had to go to the hospital. Here's some pictures of me in the hospital. Yeah, I went to Africa. And then I was like, wait, what? I was just like, wait, who is this guy? Just you've done so many things. So then I had to ask his age finally. And I was just like, okay. So what is he still doing here? Why is he past 25 and still hanging out with us? And I'm just like, this is kind of a weird guy. All right, whatever. So I still hung out with him, people are people. It was awesome. Had a great time. And then eventually, it was hard for me to get out to Thunderdome just because of everything I was doing. But eventually, I got out to Thunderdome, and I mean, it was awesome. At first I was like, well, there's a lot of stuff in a small space. But once you start playing and everybody's just having fun, it doesn't even matter. I knew maybe 5 people there, out of everybody who was there. And I mean, it was a blast. And ever since I finally went to a Thunderdome, then we started hanging out a lot more often. Thunderdome, eventually when Thunder Ranch was built, that was awesome. But yeah, it was just... I mean, it was a culmination of things, me trying to figure out who the hell Rob was. And then, after that, just seeing, he's just a great guy that wants to experience life with other people no matter what. And that's awesome.
You answered 4 or 5 of my questions right there, which is perfect. Okay.
I love how she makes fun of how old you are, I was like, what is this guy still doing around?
No, that's fine. I would say I'm the old guy, it's fine. Now, you talked about Thunder Ranch. What the hell is Thunder Ranch? Let me get water. What the hell is Thunder Ranch?
I feel like Thunder Ranch is sort of not necessarily an evolution of Thunderdome, but kind of the next logical step. So many people have been introduced to Thunderdome, and it's amazing, and it's helped a lot of people meet other people, just in the area. Kind of reaching out to other people, just being like, hey, there's no judgment here. We're all just having fun together. And as so many people, kept coming through, it kind of gets crowded in there. I mean, it's still great. We still have a lot of fun, but Thunder Ranch is a lot more space, and B, it's an easier way to form that camaraderie. We were talking about camping out there, so it's just all day play, fun doesn't stop. We're just going to camp, wake up the next morning, and fuck shit up again. And it's going to be awesome. So yeah, I mean, Thunderdome's it's just the next step. It's if you're in a relationship with somebody, you're dating, and then if the relationship gets serious, you get married. We were doing Thunderdome, it got super serious, and now we're doing Thunder Ranch and taking it to the next level. And I'm all in.
That was golden. That was so good. Okay. Now, I think we kind of glazed over it a little bit, like initial conversations that were kind of had with LAS officers. Like, you heard maybe whisperings of me, possibly. Like, do you remember the first time anyone ever mentioned that I existed, or was it when we first met? That was your first time?
When we first met at the party, that was the first time that I knew of you. After that, I mean, you were still kind of like a ghost. Like, I was like, Rob was here and now he's gone. But I still heard your name come up a couple of times, especially by Cameron, because...
I still heard Rob's name.
Rob's name, sorry. I still heard Rob's name come up a couple of times, especially by Cameron, just because he ended up modding a bunch of Nerf guns with him. He also ended up modifying Nerf pellets that we use, kind of jerry-rigged ones that we use for snipers. But yeah, so, you know, all of a sudden we had all these modified darts and guns, and I was like, that's great, you know, who's been helping you? And the whole time Cameron's just like, yeah, Rob came over, we did this or we did that, and I was like, all right, where was I? And I've never seen Rob, like, except for that one time at the party, you know, until the next party came. But yeah, mainly I heard Rob talked about by Cameron, and everyone, all of the officers were just saying how much Rob was helping out, and I was like, that's great. Still haven't seen this guy except for one time at a party where I was drunk, but all right. Like,
the positive influence that that you've seen in Cameron, because I've seen him evolving once he started hanging out with Rob and being a part of Thunderdome. Have you seen any evidence of that, or how has he changed?
yeah.
I need a new clap.
Oh.
Go.
Yeah, definitely Cameron's changed a lot after meeting Rob. I mean, Cameron changed after meeting a couple people, you know. He kept changing slightly. As soon as he started hanging out with Rob, it was, I mean, it was Cameron evolved. He just started getting out more. He started talking to people more, just not being in this shell, because he wasn't really afraid to talk to anybody before. It was just kind of, you know, he had his group of friends and that was it, and it didn't really matter. You know, he was kind of selective. But as soon as him and Rob started hanging out, it was just constantly trying to reach out to other people. It was kind of like he had a little Rob rub off on him, and he was more accepting of other people to come around and just like hang out and be like, hey, this is what we're doing. You should join us because it's something interesting, and I don't care who you are, where you came from. Like, this is what we're doing. And it was definitely nice to see that in Cameron. And I moved in with him this year, actually, and just from there, the changes have gone even faster. I mean, he's just more open overall, and he's not as frantic Cameron worrying about everything ever possible. But yeah, he definitely looks up to Rob the most, I'd say, out of anybody here, which is saying a lot. Don't tell Dan.
Do you think that he's happier?
For sure. I mean, before, when I first met him, I came here, I was just kind of on leave from my deployment, so I only got to be in Springfield for about 3 or 4 days, but I got introduced to Cameron then, and, you know, he was like, hi, my name's Cameron, I'm the freshman, and I get pulled around by everybody here because I'm just being told what to do because I'm the freshman, and that's my job. Which was funny, you know, for a little while, but eventually you have to be your own person. And I think, you know, even though Rob's rubbed off on Cameron and, you know, there's a little bit of Rob that was introduced to him, I think it's not so much he's turning into Rob, but he's able to just become his own person instead of just being that lackey for everybody else and that being like the funny thing. Like, it is funny, but now it's like he chooses, you know, what he does. It's not like somebody tells him something to do. He's just like, no, this is what I want to do. This is my goal, and I'm going to do it. And that's definitely better than the first Cameron I met.
Perfect.
What
Good.
What is the message that Rob brings that, you know, what is behind, you know, Rob's just a person. What is behind Rob? What does Rob embody? What does he believe? What does he push out that was the thing that really affected Cameron?
I think and this is going to sound really hippie, but I think Rob embodies just like free spirit, like that Bob Marley One Love type stuff. It's just like, you know, there's no judgment being passed. It's just you are who you are, and that is an awesome thing, and I like that. And so Cameron found somebody that wasn't like, hey, you're a freshman, that's already instilled in you. He found somebody that was just like, hey, you're Cameron, what does that mean to you? And that's where it took off, and he just really changed and became himself.
Perfect. What else you got? Do you want me to leave so you guys can do a little bit?
No, I think she's pretty open to talking about you in front of you. And I'm pretty open about talking to her in front of her.
Yeah, no, we're full. We gotta go really soon.
Why don't you guys switch? Because her focal point
Yep.
is going towards you.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
I want to hear the audio too.
You can see the shot. You can hear the sound.
I don't need to adjust it all right.
Hello.
Hello.
Ain't she a sexy bitch?
Yes. And you're in the military, huh?
Yes.
Cool. 4 years?
Going on 4 in January.
Cool. So you're reserves?
Yes, National Guard.
Yeah, we got a lot of friends that are in that.
Oh, yeah.
Boat. Yeah. Did
That's
you see
sweet.
the reflection in her top of her glasses?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Well, yeah,
Angle
we'll spin
those.
this down again.
It looks
We're here.
excellent at this angle. I'm fine.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Like I said, I think Rob, you're really comfortable at answering a lot of Rob's questions. I guess one thing I'd like to ask you, which Rob could ask just as well, is like, who were you maybe before Rob, Thunderdome, and Nerf? Whichever one maybe had a bigger role, and who are you afterwards?
They're kind of. I mean, I kind of classify all 3 of those as one thing. But before I love hanging out with people, getting people together to do things. But before, it was always me texting everybody. Like, I'd always have to send out these mass texts. Nobody wanted to do anything. And, if somebody wasn't organizing some sort of hangout or outing, then they were just like, well, I guess I'm just going to sit here. And so it got really frustrating. And it got to the point where I was just like, I'm not doing it anymore. If you guys want to hang out, you call me. And then there was like a solid period of time where nobody did anything. And I was like, okay. And then eventually, like, I ended up going on the deployment. And when I came back and everybody was talking about Thunderdome and LAS, and all of that was kind of happening at the same time. And once I met Rob, he was actually somebody else who just, for lack of better words, was a mover and a shaker. Like, he just wanted to, like, get out and do something. Like, he's just like, I'm not sitting. And I'm like, that's great. I don't want to sit either. Let's do something. So, I mean, like, even when a bunch of people couldn't come out to Thunder Ranch or anything like that, like, I loved working out there. He's got pretty much a similar work ethic as I do. It's just, like, work hard, play hard. And so it's really nice being able to be with and hang out with somebody that is going to do the same thing and has kind of like the same goal in mind. But yeah, when I got here, I was definitely like, finally, somebody else who wants to do something. So yeah, it was definitely lifting my spirits on that matter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This may be personal, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but have you guys been able to connect on any kind of issues concerning PTSD and just going through very traumatic situations?
Hold on.
Yeah, definitely something just...
Click that air conditioner off for me again. Something clicked on. It should be off.
It sounds like it's outside.
It's the neighbor's shit.
What we can do is we can hang something to stop the sound here.
Okay. Blanket?
Yeah, I mean, if we could get a blanket
You
over
want me to click this off?
over this gap, yeah, we'll just pause it.
Sir? Good.
Both are recording, Rob?
It's got the circle in the upper left-hand corner, right?
Yeah, the circle, and there's a circle there. Right?
And numbers are counting.
Yep,
Good,
right
go.
circle there. All right, so to kind of rephrase that question, have you been able to connect with Rob and have any similarities with dealing with PTSD, that type of thing?
Pretty much. I mean, from when I got back, there wasn't too much for me. Obviously, I experienced it with other people there that had it, just because there were thousands of people where I was at. But I mean, we made sure that when Rob told me about him having that plane crash and everything happening, and as soon as he told me that he wasn't able to like fly on a plane for a little while, I was just that's where because this was still at a party, so that's where I was like, okay, drink down, focus, because I knew, I mean, like that's important. No matter who you are, that is important to get that out and to talk about it. So pretty much that moment we were just discussing it, and he actually told me then that that was one of his first couple of times where he was actually able to say something about it, because he wasn't able to talk about it as much before, but he was getting to that point where he was able to. So we talked about it for a bit that night, and then later on, just as we kept talking about the movie, because I was very interested being a film student, so as we kept talking about the movie and different things that happened and how he got to certain points in his life, we would end up talking about it bits here and there, throughout. But yeah, I think really talking about it was just an overall good thing.
Do you do you know what do you think are Rob's reasons for starting Thunderdome, for living the way he lives? Why does he do it, you think?
I pretty much feel like he just wants to share his life and share that freedom and love with other people. Again, hippie statement, but it's just about loving everybody and everyone coming together and just being together and doing something together, instead of just living your life as one single unit and not ever getting out there and experiencing what other people have to offer.
What besides the plane crash, what struggles in Rob's life are you aware of?
I'm definitely aware of previously.
And maybe, rephrase that question and say, like, I'm aware that Rob in the past has struggled with.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm aware that Rob struggled in the past with depression and sort of not wanting to be on any sort of medication. We had maybe one or two talks about this, and it was really quick because, again, another thing we were on the same page about. I've never had to take any medications for depression, but I've known a lot of people that have had to, and it's a personal thing, but I'm very against, just prescribing something for someone that is simply going to change who they are. Because that's what I feel pills ultimately do to you, is they change who you are, they change how you think, and that's why it controls your behaviors. And since he was just like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I just like being out here, hanging out with everybody. I'm same page. We were just like, yeah, totally, of course. And it was done deal. Like, we were just like, I totally agree with you. And then, boom, just back to doing whatever.
Have you known any other people that come here that kind of deal with that some type of mental illness or depression, that this has been an outlet for them? And if so, can you talk about that?
Well, I have a friend currently.
You don't have to.
She comes here. Well, she came here twice, maybe. I think twice. And she actually has bipolar disorder, and she was taking medication for it, and she was trying to stop. Again, with my problems with people being prescribed pills, but she was trying to stop and just not take medication for it at all. It took me a long time to drag her here. And when she finally came here, she's kind of like to herself, a wallflower, and she was just on her cell phone constantly on the internet, which she does anyways. But we got her to put down the phone and go out there and play, and she had been against it for so long, and I finally asked her, I was like, why don't you like, Thunderdome? Like, what about it don't you like? Do you not like this game or this game? And she was like, well, I've never been out there. Like, okay, so you're going to say you don't like it, but you've never experienced it. So as soon as we got her out there and we were able to get her to drop her phone and she went out on the field and started playing, she was having a blast. And she couldn't lie about it because it was all over her face. Like, you could see it. She was just smiling and glowing and just like running around with everybody and having a great time. And I'm just like, see, now you've experienced it. Now you know. And she was like, yeah, I really liked it out there. And I was like, okay. But yeah, no, it was definitely a great experience for her. She's still kind of a wallflower, which sucks. But she's definitely getting out there, and I'm hoping to bring her back a couple more times.
That was amazing, by the way. What do you think was going on inside of her as she came, as she sat there and didn't do anything, and I know it's hard to estimate what was going on inside of somebody, but knowing your friend, what do you think, and knowing other people, what do you think happens in that process from arriving to Thunderdome to actually actively getting involved in Thunderdome?
Yeah, I think when you first arrive at Thunderdome, you're kind of overwhelmed, especially when we have a good amount of people there. And we try to bring in as many new people as possible because we want more people to, see it and experience Thunderdome. But when you're bringing in new people, obviously everybody else has already been there. So they're just like, okay, I just walked into somebody's backyard that I met one time. There's all these people that I don't know out here, so I'm just going to kind of chill to myself until somebody talks to me. But, usually that's a bad situation to be in just in the world itself. But luckily, the great thing about Thunderdome is everybody's in your face. And so as soon as somebody's not doing anything, we're like, hey, why are you on your cell phone? What are you doing? You want to hang out with us? We're about to go play a game. You want a beer? All right. And so we're just all about, sucking you into our big group and just making it even larger from there. So I really think from not playing and not really talking to anybody, it's just that initial ultimate will I be accepted, is this okay, nobody knows me, I'm kind of on my own, to just instantly being in a group and being like you've been with those people and been hanging out with those people for years. It's just a 180 that happens when you walk into Thunderdome and start playing with everybody.
That's so fucking good. You were just so glad remembering you. What else you got?
Yeah,
I got a couple questions.
you got a couple questions? Okay, you want to switch?
Yeah, real quick. Do you have any more, or are you good?
I could think of more, but
I think she's just.
Yeah. How much time do we have on the clock?
Where is it gonna say? It says 8. 8 minutes is what up here. So we have 11 more minutes.
We have 8 minutes.
We're at 1 to 10, guys.
No, it's counting up.
No. Let's see.
So when you're ready.
All right, let me get a clap.
He just got the clap.
Uh,
Okay, so I want to talk. This segment is also about women at Thunderdome, and how much does having a penis affect your ability to shoot people with a Nerf gun?
0. None at all.
It kind of started out with, kind of what I just said.
Yeah. Playing in Thunderdome, having a penis is a non-applicable asset. Pretty much, the girls who play at Thunderdome, they kick ass, especially Katie. Everybody's afraid of her. She's kind of like a Tasmanian devil. She's everywhere at once and nowhere, and you never know when she's going to pop up on you. I think she's one of the best players that I've seen in Thunderdome. So, yeah, I've never seen a penis really give aerodynamics for shooting. But if it happens, so be it, but I've never seen it happen. So, yeah, I'd say that the girls of Thunderdome definitely kick ass.
Now, what do you see as far as the dudes? Do they respect the chicks' ability at first? Or, basically, talk about just the girls in general. How are they treated? Are they respected? Just talk about that.
The girls in Thunderdome are definitely respected, and they're treated as, just another player. If we're lining up people and picking them, a girl's chosen first most of the time. If it's a new girl and they don't know, sometimes they're a little skeptical and they're just like, I don't know her, she looks small. But then everybody gets scrappy out there. Nobody cares. There's rolling in dirt. It doesn't matter if it's a guy or a girl. Everybody's fighting each other. I've seen people run into each other, just smack right into each other and fall out, and they get up and laugh, and they're just having a good time. And it doesn't matter if it's a guy that smacks into a girl or vice versa. They're just like, oh, man, I was trying to kill you there, and I got you. Bye. But, yeah, it's great. Sex does not matter.
Now, talk about how accepting is the Thunderdome community of different types of people? You're obviously black. Is it something where it's a certain kind of people out there, or is it everybody? Talk about just the diversity in Thunderdome. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Thunderdome is the ultimate acceptance gift. It's just, it sees nothing. You're just a soul pretty much going into Thunderdome because it doesn't matter, color of your skin, where you came from, how old you are. If you're willing to play and have a good time and just respect everybody the same way they respect you, absolutely none of that matters.
That's golden. Now, what does Rob always say about people that you bring along? What's the number one rule about bringing people to Thunderdome? Do you know that?
I don't even remember the number one rule about bringing people because we just bring people.
But like, what type of people are not allowed at Thunderdome? There's a word I'm looking for. I'm trying to lead you on it. And if
I can't even remember the word.
Douchebags.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
So talk about that. Just real quick. Like, what does Rob say about bringing certain people? Like, who's not allowed to come to Thunderdome?
Yeah, I mean, Rob's very accepting of everybody. The only people that he says don't bring are douchebags, which are people who will not accept the people that are already at Thunderdome, and people who just don't respect the fact that he's opening his house to us, he's opening, pretty much his life to us, and those are the type of people that we wouldn't want in, and that's because those are the type of people that discourage exactly what Rob and Thunderdome are going for, which is just an openness to everybody possible.
Perfect. I got everything I need. Do you have any more questions? Okay, let me check my script one more time. Can you give me a sheet? I just want to make one more pass. Kyle, did you hear anything else that was interesting to you that you want to talk about for the
Man, you guys are flying off the rails. Good. Awesome.
Rocking and shocking.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about? Is there any more stories or anything else you think is relevant to the whole experience?
What? One question I might have is because Rob's breaking because you've seen Thunderdome and Rob break the mold of like what's acceptable in society, basically. Have you thought of anything of your own that you're like, I really would love to do this in the future. This really makes me come alive doing this. I might do something crazy too, or something in that sense.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as Rob breaking the mold goes, he's definitely broken the mold on what's accepted. He kind of pushes boundaries, and it's great because he does it in such a innocent and just this is me way that it's accepted by everybody, and then they kind of think about it themselves. As far as me goes, I mean, I'm kind of on the track to doing what I want to do in life, but being more outspoken and just not giving a damn about what anybody thinks whatsoever. That's pretty much how it's changed me a bit. I never really cared too much what people thought of me, but there's still that underlying just, well, maybe I shouldn't say this or maybe I shouldn't say that. Now I'm just kind of like, yeah, my name's Sarah. This is what I do. This is who I am. If you don't like it, that's cool. Bye. But yeah, no, it's definitely made things more open. People just be themselves, and that's what counts. And if everybody's just being themselves and doing whatever they want to do, then everyone's accepting of that because that's the whole thing that everybody else is doing. So.
Awesome. What else you need? Thank you very much, Mrs. Knowles. Miss Knowles.
Bam.
You ain't got no bitch.